Greetings and welcome to the Daily Devo for Friday, the 29th of September today. Today's devotion is entitled Jesus, the Bread of Life. And just one New Testament passage, one gospel passage today, John chapter 6, verses 25 through 71. This is one of the 7 I am statements that John records in his gospel writing. John chapter 6, verse 51. These are Jesus' words. I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats this bread will live forever. This bread is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. The living bread. It confuses a lot of people. A lot of people can't take those words because they don't understand, they don't ask questions, and they walk away. Kind of the history of things. This story begins with thousands of people searching for Jesus and ends with many abandoning him. What happened? Jesus had changed locations, and so he likewise changed the way he addressed the topic of bread. When he was in a remote area on the north side of the Sea of Galilee where food was in short supply, he did a miracle that provided bread for 5,000 households. Now, Jesus had returned to the synagogue in Capernaum where the markets promised plenty of food. Here, he used bread as a metaphor, likening himself to bread and comparing eating bread to believing in him. For the crowd that followed Jesus to Capernaum, the connection between their eating bread that Jesus had provided and their forebears eating manna in the wilderness was natural. This led Jesus to compare himself to manna. First, both had the same source. It is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven, he says in verse 32. Second, both were unique. The wilderness bread was truly out of this world. So was Jesus, even though he looked like others from Nazareth, verse 42. And third, both manna and Jesus were vital. Grain and grain products accounted for more than 1/3 of a person's nutrient intake in Jesus' day. Bread was vital for sustaining life, eaten every day at every meal. Jesus was vital for gaining eternal life, verse 27. That is why his Father had sent him. Quote, "For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life, and I will raise them up on the last day." Verse 40. Manna was good. The literal bread that Jesus provided was good. Jesus himself in the flesh was better. But sadly, many just wanted Jesus to be the one who provided miraculous meals like they enjoyed on the north side of the Sea of Galilee. When he spoke of greater things by describing himself as the bread of life, many found his words too hard to digest. A little play on word there, I guess. It's a good one. I found it hard to digest. That is why this story begins with thousands of people searching for Jesus in verse 24 and ends with many abandoning him in verse 66. Our natural nature is to think of ourselves first. I'm number one. I've got to look out for what interests me the best, or what is in the best interest of me, or my family, my little kingdom that I have. I need to protect it. I need to do what's best for us. And so we go looking for those things that we've become convinced are what will make us happy, or what will be the best protection for us, or what will satisfy the needs that we have. So that when somebody comes along and talks about a sin problem that Jesus has taken care of in and through his own sacrifice, his death on the cross, they're not interested because they've got everything they want. They've pursued that which they believe is best for them. But many come looking for Jesus with the same attitude. You see it throughout the Gospels. They're looking for healing. They're looking for help. They're looking for a loved one to be raised from the dead. They're looking for answers to some kinds of questions. And if they do not get what they want, it's it. They turn away. That's how many treat the church. They're looking for what they want. It is well known for the last number of years, 20, 30 years or better, people show up at a new church with a shopping list. Was that worship team any good? Did they sing the kind of music there that I like? The old hymns, the new stuff, the quiet stuff, the loud stuff? Do they even have instruments? I don't like instruments, so I go someplace where they don't do instruments. Did they have a good youth group for my kids? Because I don't want to have to be the one to do the work. I just want somebody, I want them to have the product already for me so that I and my family can step into it and get from it what we want. This is what happened here. Hey, Jesus, man, that miracle was great. Well, that bread was the best bread I ever had. So let's keep following him. Who doesn't want to follow somebody who could heal your sickness, no matter what it was, even raise you from the dead, provide you incredible food to eat, provide these very wise words that are being said? Who wouldn't want to be in his church? But when he says something like this about the bread, that he's the bread, and you've got to eat that bread and drink his blood, which we do at communion, but it's symbolic. They walked away. Oh man, can't take that. Don't hang around, ask questions. Don't go try to at least explain to Jesus what we're struggling with and what you just said. Just off they go. Jesus, at the end of this, turns to his disciples and says, now that those people have all left, are you going to leave too? That's a role, hang your head, kick your foot in the dust kind of question to be asked. And the response comes back, Lord, where else can we go? You alone have the words of life. Jesus alone has the words of life. You're not going to find him anyplace else. Don't go trying to feather your own nest. Don't go trying to look for that which makes you comfortable with your particular frame of mind or perspective on life in the world. Jesus has what you need. Seek him while he may be found. Seek him with all your heart. Blessings to you today, and may you find him, and may you hold on to him as he holds on to you. Blessings.